And today's the 22nd. Okay, vertex form. F of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Now, honestly, if I'm doing much with that, and word problems are not going to usually be in this form, I'm probably not going to use a whole lot of the calculator. And some of the things I may have asked for on the lesson in 32 that we didn't get to, we'll answer today. I don't remember everything I all had on there. I don't know if you remember y'all opened lesson 33 or not. I know we're going to do, let me go ahead and list them. Obviously you need to know your vertex. You can do that without the calculator. You can do the axis of symmetry without it. We will talk about that in just a minute. You can do with this format, the y-intercept is not as obvious. I'll come back and mention something about that. X-intercepts, and I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to put S in parentheses because you can have none, and I say that kind of in quotes. You can have one or you can have two. We're going to look at all those situations. And these also have another name when we get into the roller coaster rides, when we get into the cubes and fourth powers and fifth powers, and we call them something other than x-intercepts. And I think on y'all's, I asked for domain and range. If I didn't, we're going to do it in the notes. But we intend to, and it's pretty easy. So that shouldn't be hard because we've done figures like this in lesson 2. I think lesson 2 is back where we did domain and range, so that one shouldn't be hard to do. And I think that's probably the only things that we need to do about it. Let me go get me a piece of graph paper. And the way it's folded, okay, and it didn't have to be little or big. I think all your classwork's probably big, but I'm going to do it folded like this, and I'm going to put number 1 here, and I'm going to put number 2 here, and number 3 here. We're going to do 3. Okay, read the screen when you get in the room and get your graph paper. Quick, 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 quick. I meant to say, have you read the screen? I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then glue right here, okay? And the first one we're going to do is f of x. Okay, what's the matter? Okay, everybody get with me. F of x is equal to 2 times x plus 6 quantity squared minus 2. The real life problems, and there are quadratics that are very real life, I don't usually see them in this format. This is our favorite format because it's probably easier. It's kind of got it, there's things that I like about it, things I don't like about it. That, that it'll give you one thing here, like the vertex, where standard form doesn't give you the vertex directly. Like line, standard form of the line, that's that format in your solved systems, that AX plus BY equals C. That's more what you would see with lines, but we like y equals mx plus b. It's easier to graph. Now, the thing about standard and vertex form is they both are easy graphable in your calculator. So let's go to our calculator, and I think I brought mine over here. Maybe not. Let me go get it. And go ahead and tell me how we graph. So where do we go first? Well, don't you have to have a graph in there first?
Where do we go? I forgot. I think you click graph, maybe?
No. Don't start guessing. Where do we go when we want to type in f of x? What does f of x stand for? Do you have a y equals key? Yeah. Y equals. This is one we're going to do today. If you have anything in there, go ahead and clear it out. Okay. Okay, stop. Everybody listen. I will get everybody with me. Now, I'm not writing these rules out because these rules are the same for typing lines. It's like you go to y equals, you type your equation, we set the window, and we graph it. We're going to be using all of these keys across the top. So that's where we're using most of our stuff today. Now, if there's a chance, I haven't seen it yet. I know Ms. Williams last year used a lot of plots in chemistry, and sometimes these were dark. So does anybody have anything dark up here? If you have any equations in here, you need to clear those out. Sometimes somebody yesterday had one graph, they had their curve that we're fixing to graph, and then it had a line across it, and that's because they forgot to clear one out that they had in here. Now, we're just going to straight type it. I'll remind you where things are as we go across. So we've got 2. Now, it's open parentheses. Do you know where your parentheses are? Yeah, right above the 8 and 9. So you got open parentheses. Clip this. And then you've got x. Remember, your x key is right next to your alpha. Right here. X, right here. See my finger? X plus 6, close parentheses. And then the best squared is not the house top. It's the squared key right over here next to the, I think that's a comma. I can't tell. It's right above the log key, x squared. It immediately puts the squared in there and stays on the line, and then minus 2. And I say this every day, every block. We know that negative and minus are the same thing. Your calculator doesn't know that. So you've got to make sure that you type when it's minus, and you have to type when it's a negative. And I try to say it that way. If you read it, you know whether it's a plus or minus. Now, in the very first problem, it's been a while since we've graphed, we need to go to our window. Now, I didn't put those rules. If you want to write those rules down about y equals, type it in, you can write that down. I'm not writing that. We have done that too much. Okay, window. In this lesson, not always, but in this lesson, everything you have will still be in standard window. And we haven't graphed in a long time, so we need to check our window and see if it's in standard. Standard window is -10 to +10 both ways. Push your window key and see if yours looks like mine. If it does not, don't start changing the numbers. We're going to review the quickest way to get there. Okay, remember, -10 to +10 is like this. There actually may be one on this. No. -10 to +10, -10, +10, that's your x's, +10, -10 on the y's. And that's the ones we're interested in. And x min, x max, y min, y max. And do you remember the quick way to get there if it's not there? Zoom. Remember that one? If you hit your zoom key, go ahead and hit it. Even if you're in the right window, you can still do it. Zoom. And which one says standard? 6. Okay, now these are things, and I know you don't use them all the time, but these are things you've got to be familiar with. You know, you get on the ACT and you're trying to graph something because it wants to know its domain, and you're like, well, I don't even know where to graph. You know, that's the ACT is user friendly. It's supposed to be you're supposed to be able to do it without a calculator. And for me, 99% of it, I can do it without a calculator. But if you do want it, you got to know how to use it.